What's going on, guys? There's already 5 people on here, and it is time for Friday Night Live. We let the numbers build. Let me get everything adjusted. Make sure the lighting's good. Shaved this morning, so I kind of look sexy. Yes. But anyway, here we go. Go back. Bring this a little closer. What's up, Tone Lock and Arlen? How are you? Brian, good to see you, brother. Woo! What's going on? All y'all got names I can't even understand. Oh, hey Casey, what's going on, man? JR, there it is. Go Irish. Y'all better hope so. You better get down on your knees, pray, do whatever it is you need to do to give your team as much mojo as it can get so they don't get beat quite as bad as we would if you didn't. See what I'm saying? Go Dogs. It's football season. I'm going to be harsh. I love the Irish. Don't get me wrong. I love that football team, but not this weekend. What's going on? Hey, Jesse and Jeff Holland, what's going on, man? Oh, Big Red Bass says I look thinner. I wish. I did just get on my diet. Back on it. Travel season's over. I always gain about 30 pounds when I travel through spring and through the summer because everybody wants to feed me. And so, yeah, travel season's over. I'm back on my diet. I'm back in ketosis. I'm back to starting to lose weight, but I haven't lost hardly anything yet. But it's coming. It's coming. I'll get a little bit more energy in me. So, Great Troop, thanks for finishing that survey, man. Yeah, guys, if you get a chance after this video, and I'll say it a few times, I'm in the middle of doing a survey. I got a company that's helping me, and they're going to help me build some instructional courses, online courses for fishing, both beginner all the way to advanced. We haven't quite figured out where to start, and that's what this survey is. It only takes about 3 minutes. So I launched a short little video this past week about it. You have to go back and look at it to get that link. I can't put it down in the description of this video quite yet. But anyway, Mark, can both teams lose? You know, though, it's pretty interesting. I was watching a little something about it today, and the Bulldogs, this is their first, first home game, out of conference home game where they played somebody else in the top 10 since '66. So it's a pretty important game for them. But Scott Butcher says roll tide. Hey, by the way, today is Scott Butcher's birthday. He's a total of 37 years old. Happy birthday, Scott. I did not forget. I just been busier than a one-arm paper hanger today. And nothing against one-arm paper hangers, but that's kind of how busy I was. But yeah, dude, it was happy birthday, man. And another birthday today is Christy Hoover. Old Chad Hoover from KBF, his wife. Awesome. Jeff Holland, thanks for the $5. Yogurt money. My wife makes me my yogurt. My wife makes the best yogurt on the planet. And so, yeah, and I can season it the way I want and put a little bit of, the sweetener in it and that kind of stuff I want to. But yeah, really good yogurt. I bought her a yogurt maker or yogurt strainer for Christmas last year. So she was mad at me when she accidentally saw it on Amazon, but she thought it was a salad spinner. She's like, "What's he getting a salad spinner for me?" And she was all upset. And then when she got it, she realized it was a yogurt deal, and she loves it. So, other things going on. Noe Outdoors Expo in Cartersville, Georgia is going on right now. They started today. It will be tomorrow. And I will be there on Sunday meeting and greeting and doing whatever they want me to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. From what I hear, it's a really good show. I haven't heard a whole lot, and I'll know more tomorrow. But I hear it's a really good show. There's a lot of vendors that showed up hunting and fishing and outdoors and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Thanks everybody that did the survey, man. That's so awesome. It is going to help me a lot. It's going to help us kind of fine tune where to start and where to go from there. Griffin, I'll come back to your question here in just a second. The things that are going on. If you live in the Rome area and you got time tomorrow morning, it's the Redneck Rummage Sale, and my wife is making me sell a lot of my tackle that I've acquired over the last 20 years. So I've been busting my butt today, putting price tags on things and things like that. I got a lot of tackle. I got more tackle than I thought I had. It's not even funny. But rods, reels, tackle, all kinds of stuff are going to be at my booth at the Redneck Rummage Sale at the Rome Brave Stadium tomorrow morning, starting I think at 7 in the morning. So let's see. All right, Griffin. Hey, I have a question. I live in North Carolina and I just got into bass fishing. Fall, winter is coming. Is it hard to catch bass in the fall and winter? In the fall, no. What happens is the bass have been out in their summer haunts, depending on how hot your water got. But I'm guessing if you lived in North Carolina, the majority of your water got into the 80s. But as it starts to cool off, as you start to wear those hoodies and get kind of chilly in the morning, the water temperature is cooling off. The bait fish move shallow, and the bass move shallow too. And I'm talking shallow. You would almost think there's not a bass as shallow as you're casting. Go with search baits. As a matter of fact, go watch the video I just launched 2 days ago. But anyway, search baits and stuff like that, and work your way back, starting in the mouths of the creeks, and work your way back as the further you get into fall. Winter's a whole different ball game, and we'll get into that at some later videos. But fall, it's all about moving baits, covering water, imitating shad and bluegill and crawfish, and yeah, it's gonna be. I can't wait, man. I busted my butt on Gunnersville this week and didn't do very good at all because they're still in that summer funk. Had that nice hot weather that showed up, and it really pushed them off the bite. They were coming up and hitting the frog. The frog be sitting on top of the mat. They just literally just punched the mat and knocked the frog out of the water. And they never even opened their mouth. They just were trying to beat up a frog, I guess. So it happened about 15, 20 times. Mean Dean Machine, thanks for doing the survey. Let's see. Chase Lane, fishing a river tomorrow. Haven't fished one in a while, but it's way down. Any tips? Smallmouth or largemouth? Just look for the deeper holes. I don't know how fast the current is, but you want to get out of the current. The smallmouth are going to be closer to the current than the largemouth. Largemouth likes slack water. Smallmouth don't love current. They got those big old tails. They can handle current. And just look for those current seams that go around rocks and the eddies behind rocks and things like that. And just make as many casts as you can from different angles at those spots, and you'll catch some. Stephen Walden, what's going on, brother? It's one of my brothers. Let's see. Have your wife sell her yogurt? I saw Scott, by the way. He said nothing about his birthday. Are you selling the Revos? I have not decided to sell my Revos yet. I was thinking about it just a few minutes ago, and I may have them in a box behind my. I don't know. I have for you guys that don't know, I have Gen 1 Abu Garcia Revos, the best ones I think have ever been made. And I literally have just hung on to them because they're just that good of a reel. And you know, if I ever need any reels, those would be the ones I'd fall back to. So, David Fields, dude, did you dye your beard? No, I have not dyed my beard. I got some blonde in there somewhere. It's hard to find it, but it's in there. It does look kind of dark in this. I think it's the lighting, but all right, I missed a whole bunch of questions because all of a sudden it just went and all the questions got skipped. All right, somebody's coming to the expo. See you Sunday. Thanks, Troy. Do a Forrest Gump impersonation? No. Go Dogs fishing ponds at closed down golf course in Dawsonville early morning. Any tips? Top water, dude. I don't know. I'd have to be there, man. I just smaller baits and that kind of stuff. Full armor bass and Gene seeing the bass crushing bait into the shore, brother. Whopper Plopper has been the deal. Everybody, yeah. Whopper Plopper would be really good. I usually throw a buzz bait this time of year just because that's my confidence bait. But I might have a Whopper Plopper or two tied on this year. David Sink says it's going to be the 90s this week. Dude, I'm so glad we finally down into the 80s this week. Oh, my goodness. I walked outside today about 11 o'clock, and I was so glad I wasn't sweating by the time I got to the bottom of the stairs. And it's only 5 steps. Josh Owen says he got a new bass boat today. Been watching your boating videos. They were really, really big help. Thank you. That's awesome, man. I hope to make a whole bunch more of those. I'm going to make a video this next week of my 45-hour report on my new motor. So that's one of the ones I wanted to film this past week, but I just it was just too hot. When you coming down to Miami, we need to catch your PB peacock bass. I usually get down that way. I might go to Okeechobee this year in December or January. So, Michael Zarate. Hey Gene, do you have advice, experience with TRD craws as well as TRD weedless hooks? Thanks, bud. The craws I do, I like to fish craws in like small rivers and stuff where I know that the crawfish are really small, but also for smallmouth bass in those little those river bass are. I love doing it for that. I haven't fished it much with anything else. The weedless hook, the TRD weedless hooks, the only thing I have figured out with them is a lot of times you'll catch a fish, you'll bring it in, and that wire will be bent like halfway down it. And that's because when they bit and you set the hook, that wire almost knocked the hook out of the fish's mouth. And I've lost more fish on that hook than anything. So what I do is make sure it's 2 wires. So bend those wires out real wide. So when that fish bites, they bend, but they bend out of the way and that hook still gets there. So, and you'll catch more fish that way. It's kind of a trade-off. You're not going to get hung up as much, but you're also not going to hook as many fish if you just leave them straight. All right, let's see. By the way, David, thanks for the $10, man. You're awesome. Forgot to say that. Fishing Beaver Lake, Arkansas is always tough any time of the year. Any tips for that lake? I've never fished Beaver Lake. I've never fished in Arkansas. One of those things I want to do over the next couple of years. What transition in Minnesota is? What transition is Minnesota in? They should already be in full-on fall. When I was up in Minnesota a few weeks ago, literally the smallmouth moved shallow while I was there, and they were ankle-deep shallow. It was great catching giants at a couple of the lakes. I wasn't able to fish Mille Lacs like I wanted to because it was just too windy, but yeah, they should be full shallow and just go hit the flats and hit those shallow points. So, let's see. Stefan, I may do that for you, brother. If I remember to put them in my truck, I will have them with me. I'm curious, do people have more success with the Z-Man TRD or the Z-Man Craw TRD? I don't know. I do with the TRD just because I use it more, but I don't know. What topwater would you throw with cloudy conditions in 12, 14 mile an hour on the pond? Whopper plopper, a big whopper plopper. Well, no, not on a pond. I'd still stick with the smaller ones. But I find that a whopper plopper works better in the wind than a buzzbait. A buzzbait works really good when there's not a whole lot of wind. So, Istapoga, oh, that would be awesome, Lake. Luann Clapbound, is there any bait that will cross over from bass to salmon? I don't know. Trying to think. The only time I've ever caught salmon was fly fishing, so I don't know. I imagine there is. Probably some spinners or something like that. Hey, Flukemastr, what's your thoughts on Tiny Boat Nation? I think it's an awesome movement. I have not looked much into it. I've been a part of it for a long time, but not by choice. It was just, I used to build electric boats. Most people don't know this. Back before, right when YouTube was getting started, but somewhere around there, I was there's a lot of electric only lakes in Georgia, and so I'd have my UPS driver looking for these old tracker boats in the back of people's yards, and I'd go offer them $500, $600, $700, $800 for them. And these were old trackers with trees growing out of them and rotted out and everything else. So the only thing good was the aluminum on them, and I'd gut them out and rebuild them, rewire them, and make them all electric. And sell them for $8,000, $9,000. I'd make about $5,000 or $6,000 on them. Then gas prices shot through the roof, and I couldn't afford to travel the 120 miles to my dad's shop. So then I had to stop doing it. So, what's your favorite saltwater fish? Redfish, I'd have to say. Deep water, I don't know, but shallow flats and that kind of stuff, redfish, man, I love them. Hey, Fluke, started using the chatterbait because of you. I've had good luck with it. It's my go-to lure besides the jig. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love the chatterbait. I almost put a bunch of them in the box to sell, and tomorrow at the swap meet, but I decided not to. So yeah, that's a good one. Jigs Up Fishing says a spoon. I didn't even think about that. Yes, it will. It'll catch both of them. Why haven't you made a video with Bama or Mikey Balls? I do not know. We tried with Bama about a year or two ago, and he works during the week, and I stay home and spend time with my family during the weekends. And so it just didn't work together. I may have to try to do that again. Mikey Balls, he lives not too far away from me. Matter of fact, I was like 30, 40 minutes from his house the other day. We just haven't gotten together yet, and it's probably both of us. He's been on the same lake as me the same day. I just never had a chance to go over there and run into him. So, am I making a living doing this now? Yes, I'm paying the bills. Let's just say that. I'm not killing it, that's for sure, but definitely getting the bills paid. My job is just to make my wife happy, and as long as she's happy, I'm fine. I don't have to. I'd do this for free if I could. Thank you for all you do. You have inspired me to create my own channel, basking in the moment. That's pretty awesome, man. Your channel and tips are awesome. Good, man. Just don't quit. That's the biggest secret. Don't, as frustrating as it gets, you just can't quit. You just got to keep doing it. So I have a tournament Sunday. This is Megan Cooper. I'm going to let you pick one of the lures for one of my rods and reels, mostly grass pond, okay? With high winds and clouds, what color would you pick also? I don't know how thick the grass is. I literally would pick a green pumpkin chatterbait, and if it's got a silver blade, take a Sharpie out and color it black. 3/8 or a half ounce. Put it on a medium fast or a medium heavy moderate action rod, and go have some fun with it. And literally bang it off and rip it through the grass. Be a little bit aggressive with it, Megan. Brian Robinson, he's answering Luann. That's awesome. Gene, I'm looking. This is Arlen Al. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. Sorry, man. Gene, I'm looking at job offers for when I graduate, and a bunch are in Huntsville, Alabama. Good kayak fisherman spot near there. Huntsville, Alabama. Man, there's fishing, good fishing all over Alabama. You've got the Coosa River. You've got the Tennessee River. Man, and there's just it's endless. And if you're a kayak fisherman, you can go in big lakes and you can go in small little rivers and ponds and creeks and stuff like that. Yeah, Alabama is a great place to be. So you'll be fine in Huntsville. Somebody's going sockeye fishing in the morning. That's crappie for those of us, or crappie, depending on what part of the country you're from. Good old boy from down Louisiana called them sockeye. I need to learn how to find them. Any ideas? This time of the year, they should be tight into bushes, but a little bit deep. They may also be, depending on how hot it's been, they may be tucked way deep into some dark spots like boat docks that are around river channels and creek channels. They like to hang out there. But my thought down there would be they're in the thick grass or they're in the thick bushes. So. Ethan Yang, it's a good question. Why do people dislike spinning rod? It is because people can't enjoy fishing and have to be a wannabe and super trendy. Thanks. I totally agree with you 100%. I use spinning rods for the techniques that require spinning rods. That's finesse stuff. A spinning rod is a lot better fighting rod, and it's a lot better on your line. So you can get by and you can get by with using lighter line and still catch good fish. It's just the way that it's made with the guides on the bottom and everything else. It really does fight a fish a little bit better, and it takes care of your fishing line. And so, light techniques and things like that, spinning rod. Bait casters, the advantage they have over spinning rods is you can get more cast in during the day. You don't have to. Literally, it's almost twice as fast. And when you fish for bass and you're making multiple casts, the more casts you make, the more fish you have the opportunity to catch. So that's the trade-off between the two. Mean D Machine, thanks for the $5, man. Thoughts on Buka Baby Bull Shad swim bait? Seeing it advertised a lot. Wondered if you have used it. What's your favorite swim bait to use? I haven't used it, but I have messed around with it in his test tank, and it is a good it's a good bait. I don't use it. I don't have them because Mike makes mine out of the stuff that he, out of the expensive stuff. If you guys don't know, I've been friends with Mike Bucca since long before Bull Shad, since 2001. So this is and we've worked together a lot. So, but anyway, so I use the real deal ones, but those that are coming out that are mass marketed and mass produced, they're really good. They're worth the money, and they do catch fish. And so they just can't. For me, I will bang mine up against a boat dock or up against a bridge or whatever else, and I don't have to worry about it, cracking and stuff like that. That's the only difference. But yeah, they do catch fish. Mike would not allow a bait to be out on the market that didn't fish right. I've seen him go off on companies that put a bait of his that he designed out before it was tested, and it ended up being crap, and he left the company, and so he's not going to let him put crap out. So, especially if it's got his name on it. Let's see. Jacob Slater says, "Thank you for your graduation present. Hope we can visit you soon." That's awesome, man, and congratulations with all your skeet and trap stuff, man. I'm so jealous. It's not even funny, man. I love to shoot skeet and trap. I've done it a lot. I used to do it with Holland and Holland USA. Once a year, we'd go shoot some $200,000 shotguns. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, dude, congratulations. I haven't seen you since you were almost a baby. Let's see. All right, let me get caught up. Hector Padilla, do river bass make the same transition to shallow water? If not, what transition pattern do they use? Keep teaching us how to fish. They do get more active as the water cools off. They get more active. The bait fish start moving around. I'm not sure how they migrate. I think now, thinking of my experience, which is limited with rivers, is they move up into shallow, flatter areas and they feed a lot. So basically, run the river till you start seeing a lot of bait and a lot of food, and the bass will be there. But my thought is that they push them up into these flatter, shallower areas. Maybe the ripples, you'll see ripples and stuff like that, and they feed a lot there. But I could be totally wrong. There's a lot of other guys that are better at river fishing than I am. Micah asked me, have I been to Clarksville recently? No, I have not. I need to. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I miss it every once in a while. Ever fished in the Northwest? We have some great bass fishing up here, especially Idaho. Any tips for us up here? I haven't fished for bass in Idaho. I fished for bass in Oregon. Idaho, I always made a family trip up there in the summertime, and we fished for trout up in Henry's Fork and Snake River, and go into West Yellowstone and fish up in there. My dad was a trout fisherman, so then whenever we went on family vacations, that's usually where we went. Kurt Close, is aluminum boat better than a fiberglass boat? Looking to purchase my first used boat and want your opinion on which one is best for bass fishing in Texas. A fiberglass boat will always give you a better ride because they're heavier and they cut through the water better. A aluminum boat, depending on the model, depending on the make, some of them can hurt when you get into rough water. Some of them are just bouncy. And that's what mine is. The Alumacraft is just bouncy. You don't feel it up your backbone because of the way it's designed, but it is bouncy, and you have to be a little bit more careful in rough water. The trade-off is, with a fiberglass boat with a 200 horse motor or a 225 or 250 horse motor, you're going to spend between $80 and $100 a day on fuel. With a aluminum boat like mine with a 115 horsepower motor, I'm spending maybe $20 to $30 a day. 40 if I run all day long and I just have a whole bunch of fun. So that's the trade-off, is cost per day. Can you afford the payments on the boat and the cost to run it when you go fishing, and then make your decision? Because aluminum boats now are really good. They're a lot different than what the old flat bottom John boats that people are used to seeing. So anyway, I know I missed a bunch of questions because it just flew by. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some. Let's see. A lot of people help me answer questions, which is great because I'm a little long-winded tonight. I appreciate everybody doing that. Stony Lonesome says, when fishing water with a soft, mucky bottom, do you still want your crankbaits bumping and digging into the bottom, Would a lipless crank be better option for small ponds and lakes with salt bottoms? Yes, the lipless would be better. Typically, I don't want in this that murky bottoms, those muddy bottoms. I don't want something digging into it and kicking all that silt up. It's okay if it just ticks it, but you don't want it digging in. It basically just covers up your bait and they can't see it anyway. So, do you fish below the dam on Nickajack for smallies? I have not. Beginner spinning reel or spin caster? Spinning reel. Spin casters are for 4-year-olds, and a lot of people are going to say no, but I'm telling you right now, I have fished the most expensive spin caster out there, and I've fished it a lot, and it still has the same stinking problems that every other spin caster I've ever fished. Is that you can get line issues and not know they're there, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And with a spinning rod, at least you know your issues are there and you can fix them. So, Laura V says, "Hey y'all, Jose. That's pretty cool. I like that. I have a stream next to my house, and it had a dam made by beavers. Me and my friends just cleared the dam and noticed the next day we were getting bass bites. I almost caught 2, but got off my hook. Yeah, dude, that happened to me with trout. I was trout fishing my favorite stream, and sometime during the year, a beaver had dammed up a large section of the stream, and we were catching giant trout in this beaver pond, basically. And I'm sure, creeks and rivers that have bass in it, they'll move right on in without a problem. What are your thoughts on nitro boats? They're good. I haven't been in one for a number of years. I fished with Ryan Saltzman a couple days ago on Gunnersville, and he owns one. But I didn't ask him about it. But he's a guide out there. He's a full-time guide. So the decks are giant. He loves his deck being as wide as it is because it's a good boat to guide out of. Let's see, Jake Popiano. Why are inline spinner baits so underutilized? I feel the trend will pick back up on them. They're great multi-species baits. Yes, they are. They're actually one of those baits I keep in what I call a panic box. When I haven't caught anything, it's something I'm going to try because they catch a lot of fish. I don't know why they've gotten away from them. Maybe it's just marketing. Rooster Tail used to market really, really hard in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And that's when you always saw these giant displays of Rooster Tail baits at Walmart and tackle shops. They don't do that much anymore. So, hey, Bravo Bassin, what's going on, man? So, while I got everybody on here real quick, I want to remind you that after this video is over, go back and watch the short video I did just the other day about the survey, about me needing help. Click on the link down in the description, take that 3-minute survey because it's really going to help me to tailor the project I'm working on, which are online fishing courses. And so I really need you to go do that. It'd be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Like I said, it's only 3-4 minutes, unless you read slow like me, and then it's 5 or 6 minutes. Nancy Judkins, I'm getting my first kayak tomorrow. Awesome. You have any tips for what I should fish with? I live in Oklahoma, and I'm fishing a smaller lake with very clear water. Honestly, watch the videos. Go do a search on YouTube for Ned Rig, Nedrig, Ned Rig, and watch some videos on that. A Ned Rig on a spinning rod in clear water, small lakes and stuff like that. Any lake really is a great one to go out and catch fish. If you've never caught a fish out of a kayak, it's the most amazing thing. That's why I love kayaks so much. I love my boat. I love being able to go out and find fish and run around the lake and stuff like that. But when it comes to catching fish, I prefer catching one out of a kayak. So, Big Red, thanks for helping me answer questions. I'm not going to read your responses to people, but thanks. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Now I just got to find questions to me. What's up, Fluke? Good to be on the channel. My girlfriend and I nicknamed this Friday Night Bites. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, man. Look at this cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. Of course, I've got a really bad glare. It's a poster that NRS sent me, and it's me holding a bass down in Louisiana. Pretty cool. I'm gonna change the whole layout of this studio in here and make this a little bit more, I don't know, make it look better in my background and that kind of stuff. I just got a lot of cleaning to do. I don't know why I just showed that to you. It's just I saw it and thought I'd show it to you. Let's see. Jesse says, yeah, Ned rig anywhere is good. You're right. Megan, natural colors, green pumpkin, watermelon, red flake. Definitely. What colors are good for catching smallmouth? Colors just depend on the water clarity. Literally, they love chartreuses, which are bright yellows. I was doing really good on Mille Lacs until I lost my bait to a big walleye. But with a crankbait that was brown and yellow, brown and chartreuse, and cranking the bottom and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's just fast-moving baits. They're really aggressive fish. They love to chase. But something with yellow is always a good bet. Green pumpkin's good too. Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate you doing that, man. Let's see. Bravo Bassin says, I still use a MEPS number 2 and a number 3 with no skirt, either a silver or gold blade, depending on the day. And they crush fish. Actually caught a nice 7-pound bass last year on one. That's awesome, man. I don't use MEPS much for bass. I do for trout, like they're going out of style. A number 0, copper blade with the treble hook, and it's got the little red straw on it. I've caught more trout on that than I bet I have on any fly rod in my entire life. I used to walk the backwaters, the back areas of creeks and catch native brook trout all the time in North Georgia. So, I keep hearing throw a Ned rig, keep trying one, nothing biting. Oh, dude, I wish I could go fishing with you now. It's a great rig. You just gotta, I just keep fishing it, man. You'll figure it out. Bounce it off the bottom, swim it real slow. I don't know. I'd have to evaluate how you do it. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning. I gotta wake up at 4 in the morning. Why is green pumpkin good? Because it's a natural color. But it also works in a lot of different water clarities, all the way up until when it gets really muddy. But it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things where a lot of crawfish, when I used to trap crawfish and try to match jigs to the crawfish, almost all of them had some type of green pumpkin color to them. And a lot of bait fish do too. So it's just it's a color that you find in a lot of their food. My top spinner says, Gene, are you a Bulldogs fan? Yeah. Yep, I've been a Bulldogs fan my entire life. So, let's see. Sean Piscatelli says, you're one of the few I've seen that prefer smaller frog rods. Do you still feel that way? Yes. I have 4 of them. I had 3 of them out on the deck of my boat this week. I love those short rods, and it's because you don't get fatigued. I can fish them all day long. They walk like a dream, and the only drawback to them is you got to work a little harder to get the bass out of the mats because they don't have a lot of leverage to them because you don't have the length. But I cast 65-pound braid off of the spool all the way down to the knot almost every cast, and so it's not a distance thing. So we'll find out once I put a deep spool on there, I guess. Let's see. Gerald, he says, I'm fishing a deep water clear strip mine in the rain on Sunday. Please help with some bait suggestions. Just moving baits. Crankbait, spinnerbait, lipless crankbait. Just about anything, a buzz bait, that kind of stuff. It all depends on what mood the fish are in, but just when it's raining like that, as long as there's no thunder and lightning, because I find that thunder and lightning tends to shut the bite down. But if it's just a rain, just use some moving baits. Pretend like the rain is just wind messing up the bottom or messing up the surface of the water. Yeah, and if it's a warm rain, then great, man. Then you don't get cold. Let's see. Groove Train, that's a good question. Are these last few cooler nights enough to trigger bass into fall mode? It's not going to do it fast. They're not going to push them. The bass aren't going to go, oh, cool night, gone. And they're going to be all the way in the backs of the creeks. They'll just start to move a little shallower and start to move a little shallower. And it usually takes 5 to 7 days for them to really get up good. You'll get, schools of a few fish up shallow quick, but it's just they take their own time to get there. What about spinnerbaits this time of the year? Yes, that's actually on the list of one of the videos I want to remake. Is a spinnerbait video. What are the rules for spinnerbaits, Colorado and gold and silver? I don't know what the rules are because the bass don't really read the rule books. My preference is when it's really stained in muddy water. If you can't see, if the visibility is only 6 inches or less, I'm going with a big Colorado blade, which is the big round ones, because it has a lot of vibration. That's if I even fish a spinnerbait during that situation. But most of the time I use a willow leaf blade, silver, and a gold small Colorado blade up front of it, so, up in the front, so a tandem a spinnerbait. That's just my preference. I like number 3, number 4 size blades, mainly because of the speed I like to fish, and then I just change the weight depending on how deep I want to fish it. I fish all the way to a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. And then I just try to bump it into everything I can. That's what I love about a spinnerbait. But for me, there's no really serious rules except for if they can't see it, I want them to feel it. And so that's how I play that game. Here's a good one. Ron Abner, sorry. I use drop shot on a large farm lake. I have thought about using the Ned rig, but the lake has moss grass on the bottom. Should I just keep using the drop shot or give the Ned rig a try? Use a Ned rig, but do it this way. And this is what I do whenever I get to a lake like that, and I have absolutely slayed them doing this. Let it fall out, let it sink to the bottom, but as soon as it hits the bottom, lift your rod up and start reeling very slow. And what you just did is you just pop that Ned rig out of that grass, and it's about this high above that grass, and just slowly reel it in and just kind of shake your rod a little bit as you reel it in. Just shake it and reel it, shake it and reel it. And don't let it settle down into that grass, and you're basically just swimming it. And if it's a small farm pond, you got fish anywhere around, they are liable to just wreck that bait. So whenever somebody challenges me to a fish off on a small pond, that's exactly what I'm doing anyway. So, my top spinner says, so Gene, what's your thoughts on tomorrow night's game versus the Fighting Irish? It's going to be at least a 2 touchdown spread. Georgia's going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. I personally think it's going to be more like 3 touchdowns and a field goal is what Georgia's going to win by. If and only if their new receiving group of their group of receivers show up. And I think that they will, and so it should be pretty good. So, but it's going to be a tight game in the first little bit. Kim Daly, will 13 produce a digital reel in the future? I don't know. I don't know if Matt would want to do that. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that would want to dive into that, but that I could be totally wrong. So. How would I fish stained water this time of the year? Depends on what kind of cover and stuff's in that stained water. But I'd fish it just like I do regular, any other water. Just change the color of the baits that I'm using. Go to a little bit brighter colors or darker colors. Blacks, black and blue, and then chartreuses and whites. Kurt Close, you're retiring at 55 years old. Are you in the service? What's going on, bro? Most people don't retire until they're older. Is it unreasonable if I am fishing every day, practicing many different lakes to make the pro circuit before I'm 60? Nah, it's not unreasonable. Dude, I love going to new lakes. That's one of my favorite things, to go to a lake I've never been to before and go try to find them. So, yeah, definitely. What I would practice more than anything is accurate casting, get really, really good at skipping, and really, really good at hitting pinpoint spots and getting into places that most people can't cast to. That's what I've noticed is a huge difference. Just one of the huge differences, but yeah, and I spend a lot of time when the fishing sucks. I spend a lot of time skipping docks just to practice. So, I don't even talk NFL. I'm not an NFL fan. Let's see. It says, "Wow, Jim, you calling them winning by 24 points versus the seventh-ranked national team. We'll see after tomorrow's game." I've been close a lot of times with Georgia, so you gotta be careful. Shoot. There, I can't remember what game it was. I should have bet on it because I was dead on, and it was a crazy, crazy guess. But anyway, I've been pretty good so far. Are you a Patriots hater? I just don't like NFL. I'm not any kind of hater. If I was a fan in the NFL, if I had a team that I was a fan of, it'd be the Green Bay Packers. But I'm not. I don't even watch NFL football. I sleep on Sundays. Hey, what's your go-to hook for weightless Senko? Wacky rig or Texas rig? Wacky rig. It's a what are they called? Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's made by Gamakatsu. It's their wacky rig hook. Oh. Let's see. Christopher says, yeah, accurate casting steps your game up so much. It does. Hey, Gene, do you like kayak or boat more? I like to catch fish out of a kayak more, but I love boat because I can find fish faster. I can search a lake faster and be able to find them. But man, I don't know. I really love catching fish right out of a kayak. I just one of those things. So if you guys are interested in getting into kayak fishing and getting into tournaments, be sure to check out KBF. That's my shameless plug. But KBF, it's the organization called Kayak Bass Fishing, and they run some of the best tournaments in the country. I'm fishing the KBF National Championship in March. And so hopefully I can win about 70, 80, 90 grand. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. Let's see. Oh, Scott Hatchett had to move his boat out of the slip in Minnesota. It's about that time, isn't it? Getting too cold up there. Telling you guys, man, if you live in Minnesota, come on down south in the wintertime. We're still catching fish out of our boats. Let's see. My I'm trying to find a question. Gamakatsu finesse weedless 1/0. Yes, Ryan, that's the hook I like to use. Fluke on my phone and Alex Rudd on my tablet. I'm getting my fishing fix tonight. Is Alex doing a live? I'm gonna have to fuss at him about doing lives during my lives. We need to get this together and get him a day and me a day. But anyway, I've been doing this for almost 2 years, guys. It'll be 2 years in November, I believe. It was my very first one in 2017. I've been doing Friday Night Lives. That's awesome. I didn't realize it had been that long. Swampland says, I don't have a fish finder. How big of a game changer is having one? It's only a game changer if you learn how to read one. You can have one all day long, but if you don't know how to read it, it's one thing. Now, Swampland being down in Louisiana, I'm assuming if you're going for sockeye, it's going to be somewhere, well, I don't know. Probably South Louisiana, and you got a lot of shallow bayous and canals and that kind of stuff, river channels and old oxbow lakes and things like that. It's not so much of a big deal, but it is nice being able to see a brush pile you didn't know was there. Or you know, being able to see certain things that are on the bottom. I don't use it to find fish. I use it to find things that hold fish. Is what I use a fish finder for. I use a map more than I use the fish finder. Gene, when do you throw a red Senko? Never. And when do you throw a brown one or with gold flakes? Almost all the time. No, I don't. I don't throw Senkos much, but any kind of a stick bait like that, it's going to be, I'm throwing green pumpkin or black and blue. Only two colors I own. But red I don't throw. I don't have a lot of confidence in many red baits except during the summertime. And I'm throwing big worms during that period of time. So any advantage to using fluorocarbon in muddy water? Not so much. Nope. I was thinking about doing some videos this week about dock fishing, and one of the thoughts came to mind that the advantage to using fluorocarbon around docks that have metal posts, like you see up north, up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, that kind of stuff. They got the metal post. Fluorocarbon doesn't get beat up as much on those metal posts as braid does. Now it's just the opposite when you get into the wooden post when you want braid instead of fluorocarbon. So it's kind of crazy. Tell them about the Ned rig with a spinner in the tail. No. Let's see. Oh, Stefan giving away secrets. Hello, everyone. I finally got the show to come through. Oh, Charles, man, must have a bad internet, man. That stinks. That stinks. I'm going to do something real quick. Let me change this. I'm going to change something over here on the side that I meant to do about 35 minutes ago. But I had to charge my iPad. Is that any different? I changed the microphone. Just let me know if that sounds different. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to use one or not. Yeah, Alex needs to do his live streams at 8 o'clock. Yep. I'm going to have to fuss at him. If you guys aren't subscribed over to Alex Rudd, man, do it. Actually, he's the guy that bought my last boat, so... Sean, go rag him, dude. Go rag Alex. Hey, Gina, are you excited about the Bassmaster series coming to Chickamauga around 2 in February? All I did was read one little spot about it. I haven't really thought about it. You know, it is what it is. Big tournaments go to nice lakes, and Chick's got some big fish in it. I hope somebody catches some big ones. That'd be nice. Especially in February. Man, oh man, in February. I didn't even think about that. Oh, that lake fish is really small in February, though. There's going to be a lot of people on the same spots. What is your guarantee to catch fish when nothing else is going on? I'd say a Ned rig, but also in the past it's been any kind of finesse stuff. Drop shot, Ned rig, a Mojo rig, a split shot rig. It just depends, but yeah, just something small and light. Best chatterbait trailer. My favorite one is actually the Strike King Blade Minnow. Is because it's easy to find. At least for me, I can order them pretty easy. But anyway, you can find them at a lot of shops. But the Blade Minnow is really, really good. It's what it was designed for. Another one is just the standard Fluke. It's called the Fluke. It's got no little slit in it or anything. It's a smaller bait. That's a really good trailer. I don't like them with paddle tails because the paddle tail doesn't work anyway because the blade steals all the water from the paddle tail. But yeah, those would be the ones I picked. Lewis Jolly, I was on Wheeler Lake this afternoon and the shad were jumping as far as you could see. What is going on with that? They're just moving shallow. They're in the current. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of food right there. They probably had a whole lot of what do they feed on? Plankton, zooplankton and phytoplankton in that area. So, and they were just schooled up. And there's a lot of shad along that section of the Tennessee River right now. So, but they were probably still out on the main lake. They probably hadn't moved back into the creeks. Hey, Big Show, where in Virginia are you? I'm on must be talking to somebody else. Sorry, Laura. I'm sitting here reading your comment. What's your thoughts on the jackhammer versus the original Elite Chatterbait? I made a video about that, a little 2-minute tackle tip video. But the jackhammer, what's superior about the jackhammer is one, it's got a better hook that has a better angle. It's a wider gap hook with a better angle for better hookups. It's got a better blade, and it's got the head shape. What happens is that blade hits the head as it's vibrating back and forth, and it's making a lot of noise, so it's got more noise to it. And so a lot of times that's what you need, and that's the reason why it's been catching better fish and more fish than the standard chatterbait. But there are times, and there's a beginning because more people are throwing a jackhammer, I'm finding there are times I catch more fish on the standard chatterbait, or the Project Z chatterbait's the one I like the most anyway. So that's the trick, and you're probably about to see a whole bunch of companies like Strike King come out with chatterbait or bladed jigs that bang the head to make more noise. Let's see. I lost 2 whopper ploppers this week. Keep me in your prayers. Oh, that sucks. That's funny though, but that sucks. Hi Fluke. Any advice for bank fishing New Jersey ponds? I don't know, man. I've been to New Jersey ponds. I fished Mike Iaconelli's pond in his backyard, but I don't know. I always, when I think ponds, I think finesse stuff. I think smaller spinner baits, small crankbaits, that kind of stuff. That's typically what I have in a box when I go to small ponds. Are swim jigs good this time of the year? Yes, Laura. Swim jigs are good any time of the year, but dead winter for me. I up until this year I didn't have any confidence in them. So, or a year ago when I started fishing them, man, I don't get on a boat without them anymore. Jesse says, I'll add this, that I believe that the Ned rig is so good because it's very unintimidating. Yes, to all species of bass and other fish for that matter. That's my opinion. Therefore, a lure that's easy to eat and won't hurt the bass from all the size ranges. Yes, and what I've also thought, and somebody reiterated this when I was in a conversation a couple weeks ago, it looks like a crawfish that has lost its claws, so it's no longer a threat, and so it's an easy meal. And I think you're exactly right. It just doesn't look like, it looks like a turd on a hook, a little dingleberry on a hook. Fishing gutter reels tomorrow. Are you still on ledges? There are some smaller fish on ledges. The bigger ones the bigger ones I've heard of being caught have been in the mats, but they're scattered. They're so scattered. If you need a 5-fish limit, I'd go find a ledge and then go look for big ones. Do you use plastics on your spinnerbait? Most of the time, no. Usually I just put a trailer hook on there, unless I feel like I need a bigger profile, but I usually don't. Oh, what brand shaky head do you recommend? Having issues with some I have with the hooks doling out after catching a few fish on them. Yes, I agree there. The 2 companies that I use shaky heads from, one is Missile Baits. They have a really good one. The only thing I don't like about it is after you've caught a bunch of fish, the head tends to get loose, but it doesn't affect the action or anything else. And then the other one is crud. I was going to say Owner, but their tips roll too. Anything that's made with like a Mustad Ultra Point hook or a Gamakatsu hook is what I would go with. And I can't remember the name of the other company I use. I use a bunch of different ones, but those are the ones I use the most. So, Swampland. Yeah, I heard that about Texas. A lot of flooding and that kind of stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy. I've been working disaster relief since I was 16 years old, so I've seen a lot of that. I probably won't go to Texas this time, but yeah, I almost went there last time, but my brother went instead. So Sean said he copped an attitude with me. Thanks, man. I needed that. He's a good dude. Oh, let's see. Chris, thanks for taking the survey, man. Yeah, these online courses are going to be awesome. If we can get the numbers, if we can figure things out and stuff like that. It's still not written in stone yet, but it's something I really want to do. So, goodness. When you caught your PB in the kayak and got choked up is the day my wife realized what this means to me. I grew up saltwater fishing. I went years not fishing, just going through the motions. Yeah, dude. That's serious, Latch. Thanks, man. Yep. Yeah. Fishing is just, I don't know what it is. I had a client once. When I was guiding on Richmond Mill Lake for the Kingfish Society. I had a 70-plus-year-old man in the boat with me. And he had done everything in the world. I mean, the guy was very wealthy. He had built businesses his entire life, worked his butt off, probably 80 to 100 hours a week every single week of his life. And about 3/4 of the way through the trip, he's like, dude, there's just something magical about being on the water. And it's so totally true. And so that's why I do this. That's why I want you guys to learn how to fish and get out on the water, because there's something magical about being out there, even if you don't catch anything. Swampland. That's my next. That was going to be my next question. Is the Cajun Navy out there doing rescues? That's awesome. I wish I had one of a shallow water, mud boat and that kind of stuff. I'd be out there doing it with them. My boat's it's too valuable to me. If I break it, I can't. It hurts a little bit more. What's been your favorite to fish with so far? I don't know what you're talking about, Luke. My guess is lure. I don't know. I don't really have any favorites. So, PHSTE, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it says, just found your channel, have been binge watching and learning a lot. Thank you for making videos. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I wonder how long it would take somebody to binge watch all 600 and I don't know how many videos I have, 620, 640, something like that. I wonder how long that would take. That's crazy. I can't believe I've done that many videos. What'd you think of the Torqeedo motor on Brian the Carpenter's tracker boat? I haven't seen it. I don't know which one he's got on there. I'd have to look. So, let's see. We're going to do this for just a couple more minutes. I'm losing my voice. Can you fish the Ned rig from a boat that is trolling at a slow to medium speed? I mean, I imagine you could fish it. You probably won't be very successful. It's a lot of times it's a real slow technique. Brian Robinson, I'm gonna discuss this real quick. Bedding tips, and he says bedding tips. I like the spot remover shaky heads. Now, I've caught probably 2,000, 3,000 fish on a spot remover over the years. I used it when it was still a prototype because I lived in Augusta and I was kind of part of that little core group of people that were doing the spot removers. It's a great jig head. It's a stand-up jig head, so if you start shaking it, it falls over. So it's not really your typical shaky head. It catches the crap out of fish. My biggest complaint about the spot remover, and I don't know if they finally fixed this, but they use 3/0 hooks. And the 3/0 hook with a 1/4 ounce or a 5/16 ounce, or no, yeah, whichever the one down from that. Anyway, that 3/0 hook is too small. There's not enough distance between the head of the jig head and the tip of the hook, and you lose and miss a lot of fish. You skin hook a lot of fish and lose them. That was always been my biggest complaint about that. And I think that they've gone with longer shanked hooks, but I don't know. I actually have a spot remover mold that I bought off of somebody, and I bought it so I could put 5/0 hooks on my spot removers. I don't sell them because I could get in legal trouble, but I make them for myself. So, favorite Ned rig color is the real deal is my favorite color. It's the green pumpkin with a pearl belly. So, dingy swamp water. Actually, let me tell you something. Now, swampland, you live in that swamp water, and it's all that tannic stuff, and I love tannic water. Blacks, purples, whites, and chartreuses. But those, I don't know, there's something about purple in that tannic water, and especially purple glitter, that they just, it works really, really good. But those are the colors I'm looking for. Blacks, blues, purple, and white and chartreuse for your tannic watercolors. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know, it all depends on whether you got mud in that water as well. Okay, Luke, he said, I got your question. Is Gene, who has been your favorite person to fish with? My apologies. My dad, number one, and my mom for my birthday, and I hope my wife brought it home, gave me a picture of my dad that I took many, many years ago. It was, gosh almighty. Anyway, I had a really good digital camera, and it was like a 10 megapixel digital camera. That's how long ago it was. But I was trout fishing with my dad up in North Georgia, and something told me that I needed to turn around and start taking pictures of him, because I knew that it would probably be the last time I ever fished with him, and it was. And my dad passed away a couple of years ago of Parkinson's, but it got to the point where he just couldn't do anything. But got some amazing pictures of my dad fishing, and my mom found my favorite one, had it blown up, and I'm gonna put it in a frame, and I'll probably put it behind me. But yeah, my dad's number one. Number two is Mark Zona. I loved fishing with him. And just I laughed and smiled the whole day. That was what was cool about that. So he's a great dude, man. One of my favorites. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump off the channel. I really appreciate all the comments. Brian, thanks for that comment. I just read it real quick, but it's come to the Noe Outdoor Show in Cartersville tomorrow and Sunday. I'll be there on Sunday doing meet and greets and all kinds of other stuff. It'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna see if he'll want me to do a seminar or two. But yeah, guys, it's time to go get ready for this sale tomorrow. If you're here in Rome, Georgia, come on over and see me at the rummage sale tomorrow out in front of the Brave Stadium. I know there's not very many of you on here, but anyway, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out of the water, go and catch some fish, and have a great day.